Welcome to Tales and Nails on Loudoun Now Voice. I'm Renss Greene, and today we have Mike Magrath with the story of the time his sister kind of won $28 million in the lottery.
Yes, I was a Fenway Park vendor, and I'll just do one. Coke here! Okay. Thank you all for staying. My story takes place back in January of 1986. Things were a little different back then. I, for one, had a full head of hair. I miss it terribly. Back then, the internet didn't exist like it does today, right? So to get our news, some of the younger people, this blows them away, but we relied on television and radio and newspapers. That was it. So my story is all about the night my sister won $28 million in the lottery. I got your attention. Okay. My sister and I were home from college on winter break. In Massachusetts, where I grew up in Greater Boston, Massachusetts has its own baby version of Powerball called Megabucks. And throughout the fall and into the winter, nobody hit the jackpot that's run every week. The jackpot just grew and grew and grew. By January, the jackpot had grown to that $28 million. So back then, what they did is, you might have seen these on TV, they do the ping pong balls and they do the live drawings on Saturday nights. So if you missed the drawing, you had to wait till the 11 o'clock news, maybe catch the number on the radio or wait for the newspaper the next morning. That was about it. So sidetrack, as a Bostonian guy, I'm a big sports fan, big Patriots fan. And yes, they did exist before Tom Brady. So in 1985, that team surprised everyone and went all the way to the Super Bowl before getting crushed by the Chicago Bears in Super Bowl 20, 46-10. Okay. So on this particular Saturday night, the Patriots were playing the Los Angeles Raiders, and I had to look that up because they've moved around a little bit. So my family, we were all assembled in the living room. My father, Paul, my stepmother, Carol, my sister, Mary, and I. We were watching the big game, and the winner of this game will go to the AFC Championship game against the Miami Dolphins. So it was about midway through the second quarter, and we ordered takeout. We ordered Chinese food from our favorite restaurant, and my stepmother, Carol, and Mary, they volunteered to go pick up the food. So before they left, Mary asked me to do one thing. She said, Mike, I played Megabucks. At halftime, could you please turn the station to Channel 5, because they're going to do the live drawing at halftime. I said, sure, no problem. I played too. Consider it done. So they left. And Dad and I were talking a little bit, and the halftime whistle blew, and I changed the channel. Now, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that Mary had left her purse over by the fireplace. I was like, Carol's driving, Carol's paying. We were college kids, we didn't have any money. No big deal. So we change the channel, we get ready for the live ping pong balls. I grab a piece of paper and a pen. Ping pong balls come out. I take the number down as she instructed. 4, 7, 9, 12, 32, 33. I checked my number. I didn't win any. I didn't match one number. So I put the piece of paper in my pocket for safekeeping. So then, Dad and I were, we were just in the living room, we were chatting and saying, yeah, too bad you didn't win, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't it be great if Mary won? Yeah, of course it would be great. How her life would change. Poor college kid, instant millionaire. Maybe our lives would change. $28 million is a lot of money. Maybe she'll be generous and share the wealth. So, Dad also noticed that Mary's purse was over by the fireplace. And then, it was like in the cartoons. Well, those light bulbs went off over both of our heads, went on over both of our heads. But these were evil light bulbs. And we said, Mary actually could win megabucks. So I was tasked with going through my sister's purse. Now, this is something I would never, ever do, but I had to for this extremely dastardly deed. And those of you that know me, you're probably changing your opinion of me right about now. So I went over to the fireplace, grabbed her purse, found her wallet, and I located her megabucks ticket. I extracted it, making careful note where it was, and I took a second piece of paper and wrote down her numbers. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29. And I placed that piece of paper on the coffee table. And Dad and I were just kind of beaming because we knew we had something cooking here. So a few minutes later, Carol and Mary returned with the Chinese food. We all went into the kitchen, fixed our plates, grabbed our drinks, and we returned to the living room for the second half of the game. And Dad and I just keep looking at each other saying, this is gonna be awesome, right? So, nothing happened. About 15 minutes went by, and Mary forgot all about the lottery drawing. So finally I say to her, I say, hey, Mary, I took the megabuck number down like you asked. It's over there on the coffee table. I didn't win, but good luck. So then I think she'd go check her number. Nope. She went back to watching the game. So finally at the commercial break, Mary stands up and goes over to her purse. And Dad and I look at each other again. This is it. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be good. It's showtime. So Mary gets her wallet out and finds her megabucks ticket. And she's standing in front of the TV. And then she reaches over to the coffee table and grabs the piece of paper with the winning numbers that I had placed. And then it happened. My sister, her face turned to a whiter shade of pale. Ghost-like white. You seen Casper? That was it. She trembled, and her hands shook like this. And I saw her knees were bending, they were buckling. And before us, she announced, just like this, I think I won megabucks. And Dad and I are like, come on, don't yank our chain, don't do that. And she said, no, I'm very serious. Michael, come here. Please check my numbers and make sure I'm not seeing things. So I jumped right up. This is big stuff. I jumped right up. I go over to see the piece of paper. I look at them. They matched. Mary won megabucks. This was unbelievable. We all went crazy. Dad and I did our best Oscar-winning performance. Carol, not knowing anything, she was just off the charts. And we were all dancing and hugging. And Mary, the poor college kid, is now a multi-millionaire, probably thinking how she's going to spend her first million. She's going crazy. We're all hugging. She's jumping. The old saying, white man can't jump. I'm not going to jump. So she's going crazy, absolutely nuts, right? And we're all, and then, this is when I about lost it. She's yelling, $28 million, $28 million, $28 million. And I had to get out of there. I was kind of started laughing. So I went into the kitchen And I just stood over the kitchen sink and smiled. Biggest smile of my life, and it held for about 25 seconds. And then I burst out laughing. And as I laughed, the living room became silent. Mary knew something was very bad. She knows that we stung her. And I came out and I took the real winning number out of my pocket, and Dad and I confessed our evil deed to my sister. Carol gave us that look, and she chewed us out because we were scoundrels, and we deserved it. And Mary went from that ghost-like white, absolute joy, and think of the emotional roller coaster. Poor college kid, multimillionaire, poor college kid. In a matter of minutes, her white face turned to that of Harvard Crimson. She was pissed. She did not say anything, though. She didn't say anything to us the rest of the night. She didn't say anything to us the rest of the weekend. To this day, she has never forgiven Dad and I. We talk about this when we get together at family gatherings, and she clams up. Now, I know what we did was very mean, but there's a few of us in the older generation. For those of you that remember the old show Fantasy Island with Mr. Rourke and Tattoo, Dad and I provided Mary with a life experience that few people will ever know. For Mary knows exactly how it feels to win $28 million in the lottery. Now, I am well aware that revenge is a dish best served cold. And I know that someday, it's almost 40 years, but someday she will get even. So when we do go visit the family, I tend to sleep with one eye open because I know my day is coming. Thank you.
Mike Magrath, thank you very much for joining us for Tales and Nails on Loudoun Now Voice.
It's nice to meet you, Renss.
So the first question is, has your sister ever yet forgiven you for this?
Oh, no. No, she never will. No.
But you're confident there will be revenge someday for this?
There will be, yes. I'm actually going to see her in about 3 weeks. And like I said in the story, I tend to sleep with one eye open when I'm around her. So,
does the whole family do pranks like this? Does she ever prank you?
No, we're not pranksters. Back in the day, my father was more of a prankster than me. And he's gotten her a couple of times. But it was just one of these things that kind of popped up and, hey, she left her purse there. We both played the lottery. We could have some fun here. That's kind of how it worked out.
He sounds like an instigator. That's probably not the only time that you got in trouble thanks to Dad?
No, my father's more the instigator. And I'll tell you a very quick story that I crack up. So my father used to, I grew up in the Boston area, as I mentioned, and he used to work in downtown Boston. Back then, he drove a Volkswagen Beetle, and he had commercial plates because he did service calls. And so he would park in tow zones, loading zones, et cetera. And meter maids, police, they'd just see a Volkswagen and they'd write him a ticket. So one day he got a ticket and he had it on him, and he was in Cambridge at the time. And my sister Mary was also working in Cambridge, and he saw her car and he took his parking ticket and put it on her windshield. And he knew what time she was coming out for after work, and he just happened to be in the area. So he camped out about 100 yards or so away, and she came out and saw the ticket on her windshield. And she just went ballistic, and she's dropping F-bombs and all this. And my father was just laughing his tail off during this whole thing. So I love that story. I wasn't there, but it's a good story.
So this is something, you guys grew up around this. It sounds like there is a fair few japes and pranks in the...
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Family Guy fan. I would not say that my sister is Meg Griffin and gets pranked on all the time. That's not how the family works.
She was pretty upset with you right after that. How long did it take before she started talking to you again after that escapade?
It was a while ago, but I'd probably say about a week. It was a long time, for siblings not to speak. And, I don't know what triggered any sort of conversation, but she was pretty upset. And I think I would have been too, but, she was.
Understandable. You and your dad, you said, still talk about this sometimes at family gatherings and so forth.
Yeah, we do. It tends to get brought up, and we have family gatherings, or new people will come into the family. They haven't heard the story before, so it's one of these things that we're happy to share. And my sister tends to leave the room when we start talking about it.
Oh my goodness! What do the new guests think about it when you tell them?
They laugh. I don't know if they think, what kind of a family is this, but but they laugh.
Every family has their own way,
They do.
Yeah. So there must have been, your dad must have played some pranks on you at some point too.
I'm sure he did. I don't remember any, though, to be quite honest with you.
This is the greatest prank the family ever pulled off. This is the big one.
Yes. And that's why I had to tell the story at Tails and Nails. I did get some probing from my wife to get up on the stage.
So Natasha, who's also a storyteller at Tails and Nails, she likes this story.
Yes. Yeah, she likes this, and I have another story that I might tell on a different day, but she wants me to tell that one too. It's about a very unique birth, and I'll leave it at that.
I'll try not to spoil it. I hope you do get to tell it then. So tell me about getting ready to, because there's a whole process to tell a story at Tails and Nails. You have to pitch it. There's workshops where you work with a storytelling coach. How much did the story you ended up telling sound like the way you tell it at like Thanksgiving table, or what you showed up with?
Pretty similar. They want you to be about 8 minutes. Mine was still a little long, but they did pare it down a bit. I gave a lot of more of the backstory from a historical standpoint that they wanted to cut out. They're better at this than me, so I listened to their advice. One of the last minute changes was, announce right at the beginning of the talk that this is a story about my sister winning $28 million in the lottery, where my original script, how I had scripted it, it was kind of a crescendo leading up to that. But I like how it came out. It was an attention grabber right at the beginning of the story.
Oh yeah. What got cut out then? What's the background that you got cut out?
It was more, this took place in the mid 80s. So I was kind of giving a more historical, this is how things were in the 80s. I probably went a little long, and I probably put a little more details around the football aspects of it, the Patriots game and all that.
How was the Patriots game that day? You mentioned
that was a good game, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the Super Bowl. That was a playoff game against the Raiders, and they did win that. And it was fun. It was a fun time. I was on college break, and they had to win 3 playoff games on the road to get to the Super Bowl. And before every playoff game, they had a big rally for them in downtown Boston. And being on break, I was able to take the subway into town and attend the rally. So it was a lot of fun.
And we just
The
won't
Super
talk about
Bowl
what
wasn't.
happened at the Super Bowl, yeah.
Well, the Super Bowl was kind of funny. I was at college for the Super Bowl, and I think it was it might even been right around move-in time for the second semester, and Patriots were getting blown out. And back then, I ran a lot, and I remember at halftime I went out for a run. I just couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, no. Hold on. This is a separate story. So you had a pretty rocky, you were at college moving in while the Patriots were getting destroyed in their
Yeah, I don't think it was
Super Bowl.
move-in day, but it was right around that time. Yeah.
What a day that was. So, yeah, it wasn't, I would like to get into that because it was kind of just the simple fact that you couldn't find those numbers on your phone, for example, to see if you won the lottery. It was kind of, this is a prank you could not do anymore, probably.
No, you couldn't. No, it's as I had mentioned during the talk. They would have the scroll at the bottom of the screen announcing the numbers, and then if you missed that, you'd probably have to stay up for the 11 o'clock news, and or just read about it in the paper or catch it on the radio. I mean, that's really how life was back then.
Do you remember if somebody hit that week? Did they actually get a jackpot that week?
I don't recall. I came close one time. I got 5 out of 6 numbers. In that lottery, the mega bucks drawing back then, 5 out of 6 only gave you $400. It was a flat payout, but it was nice. I didn't have a lot of money back then, so $400 was very good.
Do you and your family still play the lotto?
No, not really. I mean, once in a while, Natasha, my wife, and I will play if the jackpot's big. But I will say my father is very proud that he has never bought a lottery ticket in his life. It's one of those things that he's very proud of. So.
Your dad's still around then?
Yes, he's 81.
And is he still at 81 pulling pranks on people?
I don't know about pranks, but he's very healthy. He's believe it or not, he plays in a softball league, and
Oh, wow.
He does very well.
Sense of humor intact, I guess.
Yes.
Do you still, now has this carried on? Do you pull pranks in your family?
That's a good question. Occasionally I will, but not too, I wouldn't say I'm a prankster. As I'm talking, I'm trying to think of one, but I'm sure Natasha could probably come up with one, but I
was going to ask, is this a question I should put to Natasha?
I tend to have a dry sense of humor, so that's how it is.
Sounds like the sense of humor generally was just some households just have jokes, right? Sounds like a sense of humor was kind of part of it for your family.
Yes, yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, life can be hard, right? So you need to laugh, and if you are the person getting pranked upon, you got to laugh it off too. And yeah, my sister, I don't know if she ever will on that one, but.
So have you ever been able to talk to her about this since this prank?
Oh yeah. So I can. Last year was Memorial Day weekend, and I had decided that I'll pitch this, and it was actually my father's. My father turned 80 in April, so they live in New Hampshire, and Natasha and I went to New Hampshire Memorial Day weekend, and my sister Mary had coordinated a surprise birthday party for him. And so we went up, and everything was all ready to go. And my father contracted Lyme disease and had to be admitted to the hospital. So he's okay now. Unfortunately, this was all during when his surprise party was going to happen, and we had to cancel everything at the last minute. So that was very unfortunate. But while we were visiting my father, I had put together a script for this talk, and I read it to the family more for, I wanted it to be accurate because it was a long time ago, and my sister was there as well, and so I had left out a couple of things, and they made some corrections, and that was about it.
What did she have to say to you about it?
She wasn't happy that I was doing it. To protect the innocent. I will disclose that my sister's name is not really Mary. I want to protect her, but she wasn't happy that I was doing it. In fact, when after I did Tails and Nails, I sent the YouTube link out to a lot of people, and strangely enough, my sister didn't comment.
So that revenge is only getting colder and colder with each passing day.
That's
you are
true.
digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole.
Very true.
What had changed in your memory versus how your family remembered it?
The whole issue around the purse, I didn't remember all of that. My sister, I had in the original script that we ordered pizza, and my sister vividly remembered it was Chinese food. So she corrected me there. And it was just, little things. But pretty much I had the story down. And just to, as we talked earlier, we do tell this story at family gatherings. So it's not like it was 40 years ago and, it was just being remembered at this time.
Has she ever told you what she would have done with millions of dollars?
No. I'm sure she, today, if she won, she probably wouldn't give me a dime. But
No, I don't think you're getting a piece.
The whole Tails and Nails concept is wonderful. Everybody has a story, as they say, and it's one of these things where it's a lot of work to do it, but it's rewarding, and like you had mentioned, Renss, it's you do the pitch night, and then I put together the script, and I had to do a dry run before the committee, I guess, and I was lucky that I was on vacation and I was able to do a Zoom meeting for my dry run. But I think that's well worthwhile, and they coach you and give you some good tips. So if anybody's watching this and they're have an interest in doing this, I think it's definitely well worth it. And I have bought a T-shirt afterwards. I didn't want to buy one until I did Tails and Nails, so I probably wear my Tails and Nails T-shirt now.
Do you think we'll get to see your next story anytime soon? Next month? Next year?
Probably, maybe next year. It kind of depends how life goes. It's like I said, it's kind of time consuming. It is quite a story, and I've told it to a few people, and they're kind of blown away by it. So I think it would make for a very good Tails and Nails story.
Your wife, for those of us who know her, is very outgoing, and she's Mrs.
Yes.
Loudoun County. Everybody knows her. How much did she have to talk you into going up on stage and doing all that, or were you ready to jump up there too?
Well, she did her story several months before I did, and it was one of these, well, if she can do it, I can do it, right? And she did a good job, and I figured, well, I can do it. I know this story is very good, and when I tell the story, I try not to laugh because I think it's pretty funny. So there really wasn't a lot of probing on her part. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I'll do it.
Mike Magrath, thank you very much for joining us for Tails and Nails on Loudoun Now Voice to tell us the story about your sister almost winning millions of dollars.
Thank you very much.
powered by Pounce Solutions.